So scaling is not the thing that you're doing. You're growing. I always correct people about scaling because I think it does create this thing of I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. My business isn't growing fast enough. I look at it and go, so long as you're not going backwards and you're better than you were yesterday, that's good.
I think following on from that point as well, though, if you're going to scale something really big from what I've observed anyway, you've got to, when thinking about who you are, you've got to at least decide, do I live to work or do I work to live? Because if you want to go wandering around your fruit garden and going for nice walks at the end of the day and having a lot of good mental health time for yourself, then you're not really dedicated to your business and scaling it up. You pretty much want to spend every waking hour growing this business, making it your obsession.
Where do you guys find that we hold on to this is how it's always been instead of what the business actually needs next?
You've got to be able to look at it and see that this potentially could happen, and you've got to be able to see that before it's too late. You've got to be able to look at it and say, what are we going to do about it? Make a plan, pivot from that plan probably 100,000 times. And anyone that thinks otherwise is kind of deluding themselves, because especially now, things are changing quicker and quicker, faster and faster. You've always got to have your eye on the horizon to see what's changing.
Yeah, exactly. You should be able to look back in the rearview mirror of your business and say, right, what did I look like 3 years ago? How much has changed? What did I look like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? And if you can't point to any substantial, meaningful difference in how your business looks, feels and operates in that time, that's a big warning sign.
Hello and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host Tracy Fryer, the founder of Design Studio Perth, and because Design Studio Perth is dedicated to helping business owners grow with distinction through captivating branding and design, we're offering all our listeners a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself frustrated with your current branding and marketing and aren't too sure where to next, use a link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, I don't know about you, but I find the best conversations are had over a great cup of coffee. And so the coffee for each episode of the Real Biz Life Chronicles is brewed for us by no other than the legends at Cuppa Cartel. They're fueling great conversations one cuppa at a time. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts, but in order to do that, we please need your help. If you do enjoy today's episode, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below, or simply share this episode with a fellow business owner who is doing one of the hardest things in the world, building a business. Now, if there is a question you'd like us to ask our guests, please feel free to pop it in the comments section below, or simply send us an email at info@therealbizlifechronicles.com. This is the third and final episode of our exclusive Real Biz Life Chronicles series, created for the ones living the reality of business. Most people start a business because they're chasing something deeper: freedom, impact, control, creativity, or simply the belief that they're designed for more. Passion ignites it, purpose sustains it, and ambition drives it forward. But somewhere along the way, it gets harder. Running a business will put you on the top of the world one day and have you questioning everything the next. It's not just strategy and scaling. It's sleepless nights, tough calls, pressures you don't talk about, and carrying more than anyone sees. This episode is for the ones who felt the high of a win and the gut punch of getting it wrong. 3 business owners and myself talking about what it really takes to grow a business with distinction. If you're tired of polished advice that doesn't touch the real stuff, this one's for you. I'm going to introduce our guest panel. We have Paul Claessen, founder of Paul Claessen Consulting, a straight-talking business advisor with the battle scars to prove it. Paul cuts through the noise to help business owners find clarity and build with purpose. Sophie Stott, Managing Director of QuickMail, a fierce operator redefining legacy through grit and innovation. Sophie balances business growth with grace and a deep sense of drive. Marcus Procopio, Director of Procopio Legal, a lawyer who leads with logic and humanity. Marcus is trusted for his clear thinking, steady presence, and his ability to call things for what they are. A big special thanks to all 3 of our guests for giving up their time this year and giving us their energy, for being a part of the exclusive series. Your honesty, depth and insight are what makes these conversations so real. So with that, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Tracy.
Alrighty. Paul's having a muffin. So.
I was waiting for my turn. Thanks, Tracy.
That's okay.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Alrighty. So, guys, our first topic is letting go to scale. Let's open up a big one. Most founders say they want to scale, but their behavior shows otherwise. We're talking about owners holding on roles that they've outgrown, staying in the weeds and confusing control with leadership. This is where growth gets choked, not by the market, but by the founder who won't step aside. So my first question is, what versions of ourselves do we have to let go of that no longer serve us so our business can grow?
I can talk to this straight up, Tracy, if you like.
Yeah, please.
I think I'm going through this in our business at the moment. I've been in charge of the business and making some changes for the last 8 years. And, in the beginning, I think you've got to do a lot yourself because you don't have the people around you who can help you. And then as you grow, you start to employ people. Some of them work really well, others don't work. So where you gain some trust from some people, you start losing trust in other people. And it is hard to let go because when things go bad, you sometimes have waited too long before you make a decision to let that person go or step in and make changes on the fly if you're trying not to micromanage. I know you love that word, Paul. So I think over time you learn how to do this, but as I say, you also learn what, you get a little bit, I suppose, gun shy at times. So in our business at the moment, we've recently put on a new head of operations, and it is really important not to micromanage those people and step back and let them do what they're employed to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes that can cause a little bit of friction too with your clients. So we're seeing that at the moment with the new person that's stepped in. They're making some calls. It is kind of causing a little bit of issues with some of our clients because they don't see that as being in their favour. But I have to learn to step back, and I think that's where, if we as a business want to get to the next level, I need to let go. Maybe have little private conversations with the team about this is the quick mail way along the way, but it is it's something that I'm learning to do. And if you don't do it, I don't think you can continue to scale.
No, 100%. Paul?
Yeah, I don't like the word micromanage because I don't believe it's a thing. You manage to the extent that you need to manage. I do think you need to teach and trust and subsequently verify. So some people might think that's micromanagement. I look at some of the greatest ever entrepreneurs who built amazing, gigantic businesses, scaled. And by the current definition of micromanagement, they were micromanagers. So I don't necessarily see it as correlated or even causal that micromanagement equates to a lack of ability to scale. I think it comes down to having great people, teaching them what you want, being certain that they're delivering it, but also being open to their feedback and their experience, and making sure that you're happy with that as a path forward, because it might be completely counter to how you want to operate your business, and at the end of the day, it's your business.
When you're stuck in the day-to-day of it, sometimes you get a little confused whether you should step back or get involved, and I think that's where I'm coming from, is sometimes if you've taken on somebody and you believe in their skills and that they have the right idea and what's the word I'm looking for, they support your business and that they are truly doing the best thing by your business, then you do need to let them do their thing, even though it might feel like you're going a little bit backwards for a bit.
Yeah.
But if you can see that it's going forward, I suppose there's a moment where you need to then go, well, enough's enough, I'm going to step in. I think as an owner,
I don't think anyone's
it all comes back to you.
Yeah, but no one's got 360 degrees view of the situation. So you, in combination with that person, and having a propensity to debate and a propensity for conflict, I think that, and healthy conflict, I think they're important things in a business. Like, it shouldn't be because person X said so and they've got this experience set, or because you said so and you're the owner. It's that healthy ability to debate.
And reflection as well, being able to say,
Oh, yeah.
We did this yesterday and I drove home and I thought about that and maybe I was a bit hard. And you might not say that to the client, but internally you can have those discussions so that you're training them, they're letting you know how they view things and where they stand and what they've learnt. I think that's really important.
I think also the humility to say you're wrong. Like, put your hand up and say I was wrong. I think that probably teaches people as much as anything else. Have a good, healthy debate, work it out, and, per your point, if you've reflected and you were wrong, like, own up to the fact you were wrong. I think it creates a good, safe environment of trust.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful negotiating tools you can use in that respect, following on from what you say there, is to label that negative first, get it out of the way, put it into the room, get it done with, and then you'll find you're communicating from a much better position of trust and confidence going forward. You'll definitely do a lot better. I can say that from dozens and hundreds of examples of personal experience there. I don't have much qualification to talk about scaling businesses because I've never employed more than 2 or 3 people at once. Okay. So I'm not going to go too far with what one ought to or ought not to do. I can give observations, but sort of following on what I've said in previous podcasts, though, I do that because I'm true to myself, who I want to be, and that deeper thing that I'm chasing when running a business, as you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, was didn't involve having dozens or hundreds of staff or building that kind of an empire. And I take my hat off to people that do that because, that's a big part of what makes the world go around. But I realised that wasn't me, so I scaled on a much smaller basis, knowing that that's sort of more in keeping with who I was. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I could add to this topic is, what does scaling mean for you? What is it that you want to do? And don't bite off more than you can chew. I've just seen hundreds and thousands of examples in my career of people that just bit off more than they could chew and did something inconsistent with who they were because they thought, well, I should be doing this or I have to do this. And it's just a certain path to failure. And for me, I like running on my own small fiefdom where I can give all my staff, all 2 or 3 of them, the love and the attention that they need. And balance. It's a lot easier to balance control and letting go and saying, all right, you go off and do that. But you can immediately see where they're about to go down a dark path and you can intervene and stop. Whereas if you've got a team of, 5, 10, 15 people under your direct supervision, that becomes a lot more difficult. And nobody can directly manage 100 or 200 staff. And so now you've got degrees of separation. I can only imagine the challenges that adds to the equation, but that's where I have to bow out and say, well, I don't have personal experience in that regard. Good luck to all the people that take that one on.
I'd always just be super cautious about the use of the word scale too. It's just, technically it's not the correct word. Nobody in WA, in SME land is scaling a business. It's just not what we're doing. We're growing a business. Okay. Scaling is a different thing. So scaling is this, I have this very broad hypothesis about a mega scale opportunity, and I'm going to burn money and burn money and burn money, and at some point hit the J curve and go completely parabolic, and all that money gets paid back. That is what the venture capital industry is built on. And if you look at the VC industry, they'll throw millions, hundreds of millions of dollars at hundreds of investments, expecting one to go completely ballistic and burn their money on the rest. And they're okay with that. If you're in an SME, you can't take those risks. So scaling is not the thing that you're doing. You're growing. I always correct people about scaling because I think it does create this thing of, I'm a loser, I'm not good enough, my business isn't growing fast enough. I look at it and go, so long as you're not going backwards and you're better than you were yesterday, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a perfectly fine aspiration. And it's also easy for people like Marcus and myself. I mean, we sit in the fucking advisor class, right? We're pretenders. We're not actually sitting in the seat. So it's easy to say you should or you shouldn't until you are sitting in that seat with your neck on the line. I don't believe, I actually really like Marcus's point about be true to who you are versus this is an arbitrary aspiration you should have. Because that's someone else's definition of winning. Like, it's yours. Like, if you want to, run a business that allows you to work 4 days a week for 40 weeks a year, and you want to pull down $100,000 a year out of it, chapeau, good on you. That's growth. That's a really good thing. So I just think taking all these arbitrary and external definitions of what winning and what success and all that fucking palaver away from people takes pressure away, and you can do things properly.
Yeah.
I think following on from that point as well, though, if you're going to scale something really big from what I've observed anyway, you've got to, when thinking about who you are, you've got to at least decide, do I live to work or do I work to live? Because if you want to go wandering around your fruit garden and going for nice walks at the end of the day and having a lot of good mental health time for yourself, then you're not really dedicated to your business and scaling it up. You pretty much want to spend every waking hour growing this business, making it your obsession. You're going to, have a better time of it. A great example of that that immediately comes to mind is someone like Alex Ferguson while he was managing Manchester United. This guy literally did nothing but. At the end of the day, once he'd done all the training, all the office work, he'd hop on a plane over to Poland or some obscure place in Sweden somewhere to watch a second division match that night to scout some players with his head scout that he was looking at. Now, were all the other managers doing that? No, they weren't. But and it meant that he didn't see his family, his wife, his kids. He'd see them basically once a year at Christmas time or at the end of the season, in the European summer. And that's the kind of dedication it often takes to scale something really big like that. Otherwise, you're just chucking money at it, putting it on autopilot, and don't be surprised if it ends up in the trash heap. The other thing I sort of observed, I've seen someone I've met along the way. I won't say whether it was a client or a business contact or something like that, but they were running a hospitality business, let's say a chain of burger establishments, of which there are many. It's a big open market, very few barriers to entry, and he wanted to scale the thing up real quick. And I remember I sat down with him and a business consultant. The consultant says, well, what have you got at the moment? What's your kitchen's capacity? And he said, look, you can run double and triple in the kitchens that you've already got. I wouldn't be opening any more stores. It's pointless. You haven't even run this to capacity yet. And you're just going to increase your overheads, kill your margin, and probably run at a loss if you open another 2 or 3 stores in the next 6 months like you're thinking of doing. But he couldn't get out of the thinking, I have to expand, I have to have 5 to 10 stores, otherwise I won't feel like I'm successful. And it didn't end well. Just bit off more than he could chew, wasn't running any of his kitchens at capacity. And in a tight marketplace like that, where it's open, few barriers to entry, many operators, you're already struggling to make an economic profit at that point. And so, it doesn't end well. So, those are the other observations.
Yeah, I've seen that,
point.
The opposite of that with one of our clients who developed a really innovative product. His strength was in the design and really building the culture of that business and the marketing side of things he was good at in the beginning. But as the business started to grow, he was really smart in being able to say, what I want to get out of the business is not to be doing the marketing day to day. I'm not that great at the numbers potentially, so where are my strengths? I'm going to sit in that role and I'm going to pull in people that are smarter than me, that have done this somewhere else before and done it really successfully, pull them into my business, and his business has been able to grow, which I don't think he would have been able to do if he had kept that, not let go, if he hadn't let go of parts of his business. So, I think that's a great case study.
I think our conversation's very focused on what do you have to let go inside the business. And I guess you don't have to do anything. You do what the business needs, and the business needs are driven by what your aspirations are and what the market offers you. Because if the market is not offering you, if there's just not available market in whatever it is that left-handed screwdrivers for blind people, right? There might be 7 in Australia. If you've sold 7 screwdrivers, you've got market saturation. The economics of that, even if you're selling the damn screwdrivers at $1,000 a piece, are not going to generate enough. So if you can live with what that market offers you, fine, then you set the business up in a way that suits what the market offers you and subject to it marrying up to your aspirations. If your aspirations are to earn $7,000 a year, Like, you don't have to let go of anything. There's nothing you have to let go of. If your aspirations are to be, I don't know, worth $100 million, and there's a market there, well, you have to build a business of significance that will require structure and will require management teams, a whole lot of sophistication. Well, that's going to force you to let go of certain things because you couldn't possibly be an expert at all of them. But I think the biggest thing to let go of is literally other people's definitions of what good, bad, and indifferent look like. I think that's the starting point. And I think the other thing is, when you're in business, let go of all of these external validation points. I'm driving the big flash European car. I've got the house in fucking the Golden Triangle. I do the baller holiday each year. I do this, I do that, and therefore I'm successful. I don't know how many people... I'm like a business gynecologist. I'm looking up a lot of skirts, and you see people that roll up in a BMW, that live here, that do this, and you look at the profit and loss and balance sheet, and it's a train smash. And you say, well, why don't you let go of these things? And the first thing you get is, it'll look bad. It's like, in actual fact, it'll only look bad to the person looking back at you from the mirror.
Yeah.
So if you can let go of that bullshit, you put a lot of breathing room into your life. You're not thinking so much about, you know, what will people think, but realistically, it's what will I think? And that's this kind of like blowing up the man of paper and straw all the time to look bigger than you actually are. I just think, what are your aspirations? What does the market offer you? And Marcus, I'm going to contradict you. I think
for it.
You have to bite off more than you can chew, but don't take on ungodly risk. Because, like, you're doing something you've never done before. It never stopped you before in your life. You couldn't walk before you walked. You couldn't ride a bike before. You couldn't do anything before you did it. So, definitionally, we're always biting off more than we can chew. But we don't take risks. Like, you don't start walking thinking, I'll be fucking quadriplegic at the end of it.
No, but
That's a
I'd
big
say
downside
it's
risk.
somewhere in the middle, I guess, that you can bite off more than you can chew comfortably. So you'll have to chew very slowly, but at least you'll get there. But if you literally bite off more than you can chew, you just choke. You're gone.
Yeah. It's that kind of bizarre expectation that people have, that you can just kind of like flick a switch. Here's a magic solution to a problem in your business, and if I just lift it and shift it and drop it into my business, the results are going to go like that. And they never do. But they can't. It's just not going to work that way. It takes fucking years.
And then
Years and years.
Sorry, go on.
Being in doing this every day, the biggest thing for me about letting go is making sure I've got good people around me.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those, if you can't find them, if you're advertising for a role and the right people aren't putting their hand up, or God forbid you hire the wrong person, you know, you do want to take control back more, because it's your business, your name, your account is on the line, you know, your bank account, everything. So for me, that's the bit that I get where I want to wrestle back control quite often, because I feel like, if you can't trust people, or you don't have those people around you, that's when it gets really challenging.
You want to look at them in the mirror and say, if it goes wrong, you blame yourself at least.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when something goes wrong and you're even dreaming of blaming someone other than yourself. You at least want to be able to say, all right, I fucked
Look,
up. It's
Marcus,
all right.
I'm a horse rider, and I've got a good friend who works in the ED department, and she tells me that women around my age do tend to go to the hospital with horse riding accidents quite often. But there's one thing about us, we always say, oh, it wasn't the horse's fault, it was my fault. It wasn't the horse's fault.
Don't blame the
you know,
horse.
so we always, and it's the same in business. You want to be able to say, I accept control of what happened, and it was my fault. I made some wrong decisions.
I just always say to myself, I try and remind myself daily, it's all on me. If staff members are not performing, it's on me. If a client's not operating in the way I think, it's on me, because it tends to diminish my stress. It doesn't eliminate it, diminishes it, and it gives me an opportunity to sit back and go, well, what can I do differently? If I'm sitting there saying such and such is a dickhead, well, that's what they are. They're a dickhead. I can't do anything about that. I don't like that. So none of this is talking to letting go, but Sophie, just even that about recruitment, I think people are just so impatient about recruitment. You never know when someone's going to put their ready to work light on. Like, you just don't know it. So there'll be people out there, I'll guarantee you there's people out there, it might take 10, it might take 15 rounds through a recruitment exercise. What I see is people chuck an ad on Seek or on LinkedIn or wherever and expect the perfect candidate to pop up from the first ad. It's like, okay, sure. How can you tell someone to just magically want your job? It doesn't work like that. It's almost like with recruitment, you just need to be dangling the little bait constantly, so the day they roll up to work and go, fuck this joint, I'm out, your ad's the thing that's top of mind. I see that so many times. Like, I've seen this ad about 10 times.
I think what I'm gathering from what you guys are saying here as well, though, because what you said before, I disagree. I think it is relevant to letting go to scale, because what you're suggesting is that you never truly lose a significant degree of control. There is no such thing as just fully letting it go. That's putting it on autopilot. It won't work. Impossible. And so you'll always have some degree of control. It's just where you allocate it in the limited time and capacity that you have, and you've got to make that decision for yourself based on the specific business you've got. There's no 5 top things that I think anyone could say what you ought to do in this situation. You've got to work your way through it, obviously.
And that's my point. Like, if there's 50,000 businesses in Perth, there's 50,000 versions of right. A right is like completely dependent on that business. I don't think you can ever let control. I don't think you can ever let go of control. I just don't believe it. I think you can let go of parts of control that you reasonably determine you can let go of, and it's an act call like dispensation or delegation of control. Because you might just have to go, look, no, it's back in my control. And your employees need to learn to live with that, because it's your cock on the block. Like, there's no escaping that. It's business. You get the upside, you take the responsibility for the thing, end to end.
Yeah, well, did take Alex Ferguson. Do you think he lost control of Man United while he was there? Absolutely not. Do you think Elon Musk has no control over the companies he runs? Of course he does.
Absolutely.
He's paying attention.
But it's in the finest of detail. Like, if you actually look at the way Musk works, it's at the most minute level of what he determines to be the most important thing for that business to be working on.
Yeah.
Like, he goes on the factory floor and tells people to take plastic parts off a car if they're wasted. Like, that's not in this fucking leadership book of, delegate it to smart people and let them do their blah, 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 blah. He's on the floor telling people, and look at how those businesses perform. They are remarkable businesses. Say what you want about Musk, it's irrelevant. That's just personality politics. Look at those businesses. They are extremely well run, very, very profitable, like sustainable businesses with an extraordinary moat around them. You can't get there without being in the weeds. You just can't, and no one has done it.
And I think all of these people have a common trait, going back to what I said before. They live to work. They don't work to live for their spare time. They live mission. To work. That is their purpose. And if that's not you, which is well and truly over 90% of the population, probably well and truly over 99% of the population.
Yeah.
No, that's not a crime. Own it. But then don't try and be something that you're not.
Because of external arbitrary expectations.
Yeah.
Do what you fucking want. Like, that's why you're in business, isn't it?
Exactly. And you can still find this happy utopia for yourself if you go and do what you were designed to do. If you're not designed for it, then you're going to have a very bad time.
Definitely.
You're going to need a cardiologist on tap and some visits to the psych.
Mate, it's actually worse. I'm not going to make anything that would even get close to someone as like an identifiable human. I have worked with a person who was just not built for business. Like, should not be in business. And I'll tell you the absolute downside of that, having a meeting with said person on a Saturday afternoon because whatever, and in the midst of the conversation, having a normal business conversation, nothing more intense than you and I would have, the stress and pressure of that conversation was so much that the person terminated the call, and my first thoughts were, I need to go to their house because I'm concerned about what they're likely to do. Like, so on a Saturday afternoon, I'm in the vehicle driving to their house, going and knocking on the door saying, surprise, hoping that I wouldn't find something radically different. Like that's the downside of it. So it is important. It's not mental health or cardiac health. You like, what do you call it? Heart health. It's nothing like that. It's literally, you know, the outcomes can be seriously bad.
Yeah.
If you're living in this disconnected world. And it's like, it is a point where you just got to say, just fucking relax. Like if you just want a thing that's that big, doing X, where you can like get on the floor and twiddle the knobs, brilliant.
I wish it was as easy as that, but you're talking about a deep-seated level of chronic anxiety in the world today that went through the roof the moment the internet came out. It needs something deeper than that. But, yeah, at the very least, it'd be a lot easier if people stopped shooting themselves in the foot and doing things they weren't designed for and then, you know, ending up horribly anxious. I mean, you take that Homozai fellow, you know, the successful business guy. Hormozy, that's the thing, yeah.
Homozai, yeah. Let's roll with that.
Inikomozy, is it? Inikomozy? Is that?
Alexio Hormothe.
And so I listened to a couple of his podcasts for shits and giggles and, you know, highly successful. I respect the hell out of the guy and what he's done. But he couldn't be more different to me, because one of the things he said is, well, I tried going on a holiday.
Yes.
You know, my girlfriend told me we should go on a holiday, and I hated it. You know, all I wanted to do was get back and do my business stuff. And he's, you know, that's just the person who he is. That's what he was designed to do. Good for him. I'd rather bloody chop my pinky off than live like that. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go on that damn holiday to Japan this year, if you don't mind.
I can't listen to Hormozy.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
I like his stuff.
His podcasts make me twitch.
Why?
Because it's like, hey, how you going? If you're not working 87 hours a day, you're a piece of shit. Just fucking get on with it. And if you're not fucking doing $100 million a year, you're a loser. So don't be a loser. There's my advice. It's like, okay, chief.
Yeah.
Like, let's just calm it all down a bit.
Could you imagine if the whole world was like that?
I feel a bit like I'm like that at times. And I'm always trying to moderate it, because it's like, for me, I sit down with someone, it's like, what? It's always a belief in the person that drives me to do it. I'm saying, fuck, if you want to do it, let's get at it.
Yeah.
But I have to moderate, because people do have deep-seated anxieties and insecurities and all of these things, which I think in my head, it's just pick the fucking phone up. It doesn't matter. To a lot of people, it really matters. So I've had to learn to just like moderate my amplitude of expectation. Because if I'm not doing that, it can, you know, like it can make people feel how Hormozy makes me feel, which is kind of,
Yeah, it's just...
fuck, I'm a loser. I only worked fucking 97 hours today. The fuck is wrong with me?
Because I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
I can't. I just can't.
Weird.
I just can't. And I don't believe... firstly, I don't believe it's the whole story of Hormozy. It's just such a tiny little slither of it. And secondly, I don't believe it's a sustainable proposition, because what he does, he's excellent at, and he's found a part of the market that's about that wide. And it's like, this applies to everything. And it doesn't.
No.
Like, it's not the universal panacea for all business problems. You know, his panacea is just club it to death and pour more money at it. Like, what if you haven't got the $100 million? This is a guy that sold $200 million worth of books in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like...
Yeah, but I think the one thing I do respect, at least in people like that, is they're relentless.
Totally.
And good for them. You know, if you're willing to put that kind of effort in and risk your finances, risk your health, and it's all or nothing, good for you, you know.
That's how you are.
And enough of that is needed to make the world go round. But like I said, could you imagine if everybody was like that?
Yeah, no.
Life would be insufferable. You wouldn't have Sunday barbecues with family and friends, put it that way. That'd just be a big fat waste of time.
I don't know. Sunday barbecues. These barbecues you speak of.
You don't have them? Oh.
I don't like socialising.
Oh, fair enough.
So he's just a diet. Hormozy, is it? Homozai?
Homozai.
No, no.
Homozai now.
Alexi Hormothe.
Whatever it is, you're a diet one of him.
I don't like socialising. No. And the more I get into business, the more I find conversations at a networking event. And I don't think less of anyone, but I'm not going to sit and have a fucking banal conversation about football or I don't know. I think there was cricket on recently.
Yeah, there was.
It's like people talk, it's like, oh, did you watch the Ashes? I'm like, the what? Like, no, is it on? Is
No,
that a cricket
I swept
game?
them up and put them in the bin. What am I supposed to do with the Ashes?
So that's something I've let go of.
I did watch a little bit of the
Networking?
Ashes, though.
No, I've let go of the idea that, if you're in business, I'm a 1% version of a Hormozy in that I recognise in him similar attributes that I have of myself. It's, if you're going to do something, you just go, you find the biggest version of it and you just go at it until you either win or lose.
Yeah.
So I look at that and I go, well, that's the choice I make, and I make that willingly. No one holds a gun to my head and says, you must do this. But I always have to make a conscious decision that there are consequences of that. And one of the consequences are I don't want socials, like I don't like social sort of interactions. I find it.
You can interact with people that want to talk about ideas and not just other people and events. That is possible.
I find it very hard, and because I go there and I'm always a bit pent up, people, I've got great resting bitch face, so I'll stand at a networking event and people just looking at who's the fucking angry prick in the corner.
Just find the other guy wearing a suit. It'll be fine.
There are never anyone.
There's always
no
one.
one.
There's always one.
Very rarely, mate. Very rarely. Anyway, that's another thing I've let go of. It's just the things. I don't watch TV.
No, neither.
So Glenn says to me, "Oh, did you watch? Fuck, I don't know. Is it MKB or something?
Married at First Sight.
No,
My Kitchen Rules.
A cooking show. Yeah, MKR.
Yeah.
No,
Love Island.
I've never watched anything like that. And he's like, oh, right, what shows do you watch? I'm like, nothing. I read a book.
Come on, you got to watch Slow Horses.
Who?
That is a great one on Apple TV.
Is it a series?
Slow Horses.
Yeah.
Is that a show about disabled horses or
No,
something?
it's not.
Oh.
There's no horses in it.
There's one show in the last 5 years, one series of shows in the last 5 years that I've watched religiously, which is the Taylor Sheridan saga of 1883, 1923, whatever the next one was, and Yellowstone, because I like a saga.
So you're a TV junkie.
What is that? One series in 5 years?
Well, how many times did you watch it?
Once. That's it.
That's it. That's all the televisioning you've done.
The only
in 5
televisioning
years.
I can think of, and I will only allow myself to watch movies I've seen before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I can't watch the same thing
That's
twice.
a bit self-limiting.
I do not want to invest the mental cycles in getting
So
getting
you
to
can't
know
watch anything new.
hate it.
I can't watch
Hate it
TV
with a
twice.
passion.
I don't actually watch TV at all.
After a
I
bit of
get
time, you
bored.
can watch it twice. Like
No.
you have to watch The Big Lebowski at least 3 or 4
No,
times.
it's not a productive use of time.
have to.
No way.
No, you know what? I could probably
The
give
dialogue,
you the
it's-
script of Jack Reacher. I could probably
No.
run the whole movie for you, and I could watch it happily tonight.
You
Happily,
have
I
some
would-
action poses.
No,
Do you do that with food as well? Like you'll only now eat meals that you've eaten before, and you're never going to have a
dude,
new
I
meal?
won't mix food on the plate.
God.
I'll eat the vegetables first, I'll eat the carbs second, and I'll eat the steak third.
I think we need to turn this into a therapy session.
Wowza.
for Paul.
I think we need to move on to the
I
next
think
topic.
so. Yes. Well, anyway.
But
I think we should dig
fundamentally,
deeper.
Tracy, it's about what do you need to let go? No matter what you're doing in business, no matter the scale, there will be things other than the shit inside your business you need to let go of.
Yeah.
I think it's a broad view of the world, and I think you just have to take a pretty pragmatic approach. This aspiration and this market opportunity equates to me not being able to do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
if you're okay with that, then that's the correct decision. The correct decision isn't somebody outside saying you should delegate to smart people and you should, take 4 weeks off a year and you should do this and you should do that. Because fundamentally, that's going to create a disconnect in your mind.
Yeah.
So sit down, think about it carefully, set your direction and go at it with those consequences in mind. And don't whinge about the consequences. Just accept that that's what they are.
Yeah.
You want to lose weight, you can't eat fucking burgers every week.
Put the fork down.
Or mix the peas in the mash, apparently.
No, don't mix the peas in the mash.
Alrighty, let's shift gears from Hormozy.
Hold them off there.
I thought we're shifting gears from Paul's therapy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Public therapy.
Yeah.
From Paul Hormozy.
Paul Hormozy.
So if letting go is one challenge, then the next one is the season every business owner eventually hits. So the second topic is reinvention as a normal business season. So let's open up the reality that reinvention isn't a crisis. It's a season every business faces. Market changes, customer shifts, technology evolves, and yet so many owners cling to what used to work. Reinvention feels risky, but staying the same is often the greatest risk. Where do you guys find that we hold on to, or business owners, hold on to, this is how it's always been, instead of what the business actually needs next?
I used to feel that way. I used to think, you've got a good business and you just keep doing that and you do it well and things will be okay. And obviously with our business, we're in direct mail. Not that many people are sending mail anymore. The internet came along, people were sending less mail. Pricing for postage went up, people were sending less mail. So we had to make a decision to pivot within the business or there wouldn't be a business anymore. And I think that's happened to so many businesses over hundreds of years. And you can look at some and Kodak, Blockbuster, that didn't make those changes. And then you can look at others that started as one thing and became something totally different. Sometimes you hear people whinging, oh, well, this happened and it's not fair because it ruined my business. And I kind of don't feel sorry for those people anymore because we've been through it in our business and you've got to have foresight. You've got to be able to look at it and see that this potentially could happen, and you've got to be able to see that before it's too late. You've got to be able to look at it and say, what are we going to do about it? Make a plan. Pivot from that plan probably 100,000 times. That's certainly what we've had to do. Keep changing, keep iterating. But yeah, I think it's just normal business. And anyone that thinks otherwise is kind of deluding themselves. Because especially now, things are changing quicker and quicker, faster and faster. You've always got to have your eye on the horizon to see what's changing. Or I don't know, I just don't think you can sit there and whinge that, oh, it's not fair, the government changed this rule, or the internet came along, or somebody smarter made a better business decision. You just can't. It just, bad luck. You snooze, you lose. You're out of here. These businesses will fail.
It doesn't matter what you're doing or how obsolete it might seem, in your case with direct mail or even paper. Everyone thought paper would be dead by now. As long as you deliver value to people based on their preferences, not yours. We're not a bunch of communists. Based on what people want. If you're delivering value, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be paper with tassels for all I care. If that's what they want and you're helpful and you deliver it to them, they will cheerfully purchase the service and pay for it. And if you don't, and you think, well, this is what I do and they can take it or leave it, and you want to be a miserable piece of shit, then your business will suffer. And we've seen that many times when we've been the consumer ourselves going, why are they doing this?
I've seen it in the printing industry. Certain printers, they can see that the numbers are going down. So what have they done? Well, one printer's gone into signage. Another printer's gone into packaging. So, they're looking at how they can change their business slightly to maintain their revenue. And then you'll find those smaller ones that don't make those changes, well, they're either going to close or they're going to get snaffled up by the bigger ones. And I just think as a business owner, you can't make excuses. You have to be looking forward. You have to be really proactive about continuing to see where your business is, where your industry is, and keep making changes.
I mean, and I can certainly say I've noticed this in law, because lawyers can be very, very dowdy and resistant to change. There was a time not that long ago that there was a good collection of lawyers that were refusing to use email in their practice. They didn't rely on it, couldn't trust that it was going to get to the recipient and all of this. And so they just refused to use it for goodness knows how long, and maybe even just refused to keep practicing because they were just forced out. There was one guy I remember seeing that still to this day doesn't type up his own emails. He has to stand behind a a secretary for the whole day and dictate the whole thing out, and the
Wow.
whole office has to hear about it. So it still actually happens. There are lawyers that won't put their IT on a cloud server and insist on hosting their own server on site, and wondering why they get hacked so easily, and don't engage professionals to do this sort of thing, or wonder why their business isn't mobile and they can't. Say during COVID, it exposed a lot of law firms that couldn't transfer their operations to staff working from home, for example. You know, things like this are obvious examples. And then obviously the big one now is the use of large language models and AI. If you're just form-filling leases, and you could say there's all sorts of similar tasks in many other industries, if you think you're going to make any profit out of doing that economically going forward the way that you always have in the past over the however many decades, you're sadly mistaken. A machine's going to do that now. What value are you giving to your customers? They're going to come to you with a problem that no one else can solve. Can you solve it for them? And if you can't, you're going to go by the wayside.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the challenge is making sure you're taking on new technologies all the time, but then what that can do for you is you've got to make sure that your staff are on board with that. You know, for us, having those older staff, that we've got some staff that have been with us for over 15 years. As you pivot the business, some of those people aren't going to be the right people to have in your business anymore. So you've got other things you have to manage when you start to make those changes. You know, hopefully you can reposition those people to other roles in the business, but not necessarily. So it does come down to making some hard decisions, even around these are the clients we used to have, this is the sort of profitability that we used to have, but that's not necessarily a good client for us anymore. So do we let those clients go so we can bring on newer clients? A lot of those things can be quite hard decisions in the moment, but once you've done it, you think, oh, wow, why didn't we do that ages ago? And then it's around changing the identity of the business as well, where, like branding, do you need to update that? What sort of things do you need to do to let your customers and the general public know that you've changed, that you're evolving?
Yeah, exactly. You should be able to look back in the rearview mirror of your business and say, right, what did I look like 3 years ago? How much has changed? What did I look like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? And if you can't point to any substantial, meaningful difference in how your business looks, feels and operates in that time,
it's a warning sign.
That's a big warning sign.
It's a big warning sign, particularly now. Like, maybe 10 years ago it was looking back 10 years. But, you know, now it's looking back 2 years because of the technology that's coming and making sure. And I suppose for people listening, it's about just doing that for themselves right now and saying, how have we changed? How are we keeping up? What are our competitors doing? You know, what are other people in the similar areas doing that we could possibly take on some of those ideas? Because I don't think nothing's new, is it? I mean, Paul, you've said this to me. Nothing's new. You can copy and put your spin on it, and it can be new in your way.
Yeah.
I've got 3 comments.
Okay.
Potatoes for pigs.
Let me get this down.
Potatoes?
Potatoes for pigs.
Yeah.
Tulips for castles. And McDonald's.
Yeah.
So potatoes for pigs, literally business, per Marcus's point, is a simple transference of value for something in return. So if you go back thousands of years ago, we bartered. I've got this pig. I need 2 fucking sacks of potatoes. I'll swap you. All that changed was that we put money in the middle. So it became an independent measure of value. These potatoes are worth X dollars or X fucking reals or X, you know, dinars or whatever. Like that's the currency. That became the independent measure of value. So we weren't swapping potatoes for pigs anymore. That's a nice thing. So if you can always accept that your business relies on a transference of value for money, I think that starts a thinking process. The second thing is tulips for castles. If you go back and look at the tulip bubble in Holland in the 1400s, I think it was.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
The tulip bubble became so overheated that somebody, it's called the last fool in theory, which is a bit of a sad thing. Some poor sod thought that this particular fucking tulip bulb was really, really, really valuable. So he exchanged a castle for a tulip bulb.
Oh.
Now, that was the moment that everyone went, oh, this is fucked out, and the whole market collapsed at that point. Forgetting that little part of it, it's the perception of value is as important as the actual value. So it's not just a specific monetary value. There is a perception of value. So it's being very cautious to understand the perception of value, because a Louis Vuitton handbag sells for $4,000. If you were to exchange money for the actual value, you'd probably pay $17 for a Louis Vuitton handbag. But there's other bits of value that get attributed to that, which is prestige and I feel good and I look good and all those sorts of things,
Scarcity.
which people pay money for.
Yeah.
Like they're happy to pay. So thinking about that when you're looking at this exchange of value for money, and McDonald's never made money from hamburgers, nor did it make money from franchising. It is not in the hamburger business, it's in the real estate business.
Property,
It always made money from real estate. It never made money from hamburgers.
Right.
Tesla is not an automobile company. It's a real world AI company. And look at the stack of products they're putting in the market. One is vehicles. And the whole value in a Tesla is not the car, it's full self-drive. Their grid scale batteries, what are they called? Mega packs. Fuck, a grid scale battery is nothing. It's absolute fucking, there's nothing in it. It's the real world AI that they put on top of that, and it's called auto bidder. That's the value of that thing. It's not the battery pack, because anyone can make a battery pack.
Yeah.
You look at their robots, you look at all of these things, they are in the real world AI business. They're not in the automotive business. It's just that those cars were used as a stalking horse to gather data about the real world. And you look at all of these businesses that have done something, because NVIDIA is not a chips business. It's absolutely not. It's an AI infrastructure stack business, because in the absence of CUDA, don't ask me what it stands for, but it's CUDA, NVIDIA would have been wiped out by AMD and probably soon by Huawei, because they can come along and produce chips way cheaper. Way cheaper. Jensen Huang just said it the other day. You could give, basically someone could come along and give somebody a competing GPU for $0 and people would still buy NVIDIA's gear. That says to me that I think an H100 is $95,000 for a current GPU. That basically says there's $95,000 of a different problem than chip design and chip fab. So you look at all of these businesses, and the business you think they're in is not the business they're in. So it's you trade value for money. There is a perception of value that's above the actual economic value, and be very, very cautious about the problem you're solving, because I don't for a second suspect you're a branding business. I don't think you're a legal business. I wouldn't come to you for the law. I don't give two fucks about the law.
Find it on the internet, yeah.
It would be solving a problem and explain to me and strategy and all of these other things. I don't know how you'd encapsulate that. I don't think of you as a branding business. I think of you as someone that drags someone out of the fucking dark shadows and into the spotlight to help them grow their business. I don't think of you as a 3PL. There's something else, like there's a different business you're in than maybe the one you think you're in. And it all centers around your customer. So you've got to be very alive to what problem you're actually solving for your customer. Like, what are they actually experiencing? Because nobody experiences a 3PL problem. It's a fucking, it's a laugh. It's a joke. Nobody experiences a logo problem. Like, you're not solving a logo problem. Nobody experiences
people get legal problems. But there's a shitload
there's
of
something
lawyers
else
that
that leads
solve
to that.
and apply technical solutions to their problems. It's a whole lot more than
That's
that.
what I mean. So
why someone trusts a particular business.
Yeah, so I don't believe in innovation for the sake of innovation. I think that's fucking horseshit. People stand up on stage and say you should innovate. It's like, for what reason? Like, fucking just innovate. Because we'd all have apps, and we'd all have fucking AIs, and we'd all have this, and it wouldn't solve anything. So start with that basis of thought, value for money, contemplate the perception of value, but in reality, it's what's the actual problem you're solving. And if that's the problem, if you can really identify that and that's real, drill in on that and constantly improve that solution, there's your innovation stack.
It was always one of the funniest things. That last big corporate job I had a long, long time ago, and there was an innovation team. And I'm sitting there going, "Are you pricks innovating yet? How's that going? What do they do? They just sit in a room, just going, and hoping for something to bust out. You can't force that.
No, but you can see it. You can see where you need to solve a problem, which is by definition innovation, by just looking at your customers. So knowing who your customers are, looking at them, what's the problem they're actually experiencing, and go fucking solve it. Like, it's not the hardest thing in the world. That's how Ray Kroc came up. Well, it wasn't Ray Kroc, but let's just pretend it was. That's how Ray Kroc came up with the idea of the real estate thing because he kept on looking at his franchisees and seeing the dramas that they were facing, and he wasn't making any money because he wasn't actually solving a problem for them.
Right.
They just didn't. I think in the first 4 years or something, like he made a total of $30,000. Like he was on the edge of bankruptcy. So solving a real problem created one of the greatest businesses ever. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. Kind of leads well into the next topic. So strategy doesn't matter if no one sees you. So the next topic is visibility equals opportunity. Let's open up a truth most people quietly know. Visibility creates opportunity. You can be brilliant, but if no one sees you, it doesn't matter. Many owners hide behind their work and then resent the people who show up louder. What opportunities are we missing when we stay silent, or as Paul said, in the shadows?
This feels like a big DSP marketing
Well-
sales pitch to me. I don't
No,
know.
it's important.
This whole podcast is a lost leader. The real business
Hey.
is what you're seeing.
I
there.
think
I'm her coach.
I think it's nice hearing it from someone else other than me. So I was curious to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
It's easier to sell when you're famous. I think that's the easiest way to think about it.
Absolutely.
People trust you. People like or hate, and that's a perfectly good thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of people that don't like me. I'm just a tad direct. Like if someone doesn't want to deal with someone direct, but they don't know I'm direct, the first meeting I have, people run out of the room with fucking hair on fire, never wanting to go back. Like
Or
it's
crying.
Yeah, it's like if they see me and they know me and they kind of get my vibe, well, that's cool. The right people engage, the wrong people don't. Like, it's okay. That's a good thing. So I just think it's easier to sell when you're famous.
Okay. So?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been listening to the founder of Red Bull, his story.
That guy.
Yes. I'm not going to say his name.
The Austrian
Yes.
fellow.
Yeah.
Yes. So he was different. Obviously, he kept pretty quiet. He had a very low profile,
Right.
and threw everything behind the brand. So it obviously can be done. But he was a marketing genius by all
Total
accounts,
genius.
Sure.
and has gone at things from a very different way than most businesses would. Obviously, throwing things at, I mean, I have a 12-year-old, and last month he said to me, I didn't even realise Red Bull was a drink. I thought it was just car racing.
Right.
So that's how good a job they've done.
Yeah.
They put so much into skateboarding and all these extreme sports. So it can be done. I suppose it's about a choice, what you want, whether you personally want to step up and get in front of the microphone and put your face out there, and how you want to do that. And with this creator economy that's out there, it's a lot more achievable now.
A lot more open to everyone.
I mean, just throwing it out there in terms of this ban for the under 16-year-olds on social media, that's one thing, but a ban on YouTube for under 16-year-olds I have to question, because I think personally my son, he's 12, he's got a little YouTube channel that he's got 60 subscribers or whatever, and I want him to learn how to be putting content out there, because it is important, as we say, visibility equals opportunity. I'm not going to stop him from doing that. Apparently the government is. But that's how people are going to make money moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're also experimenting from a young age and learning. Obviously you need to put some controls around that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should be stopping them, because it is really important. And these kids, if they've got some crazy, wacky ideas, they're going to turn into the next Hormozy or whoever it is.
They will.
So I don't think we should be taking that away from them.
That's,
And kids always
You
find
can't
a way
give kids
as well.
access to social media. They might see something that doesn't support the government's agenda, and that'd be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I initially agreed in principle that maybe it should be treated like a licensed area, but then once you think it through practically, how the hell are you going to enforce that? How are you going to put it in place that it's fair and encourages kids to grow and live their lives? If you ban them from Facebook or any other social media, they'll go find somewhere else to bully and annoy and harass each other and do everything. So what's the whole point? I mean,
the thing about YouTube, especially with kids, is you can turn comments off. But even on top of that, my boy put up a video a couple of weeks ago of him doing some skating or something, and he got a couple of negative comments. And it was actually a really good learning experience, because we could have that conversation and say, well, we could turn comments off, or you could realise that you don't know these people and they
Yeah.
don't know you.
And you learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
Maybe you were shit. Maybe there's something you can get better at.
Yeah. Maybe this person doesn't know anything. Maybe you need to not be listening to them. There's so many different conversations you can have around that. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to ban them until the day they turn 16, and then they've got to start learning then.
And
Anyway.
then they'll get bullied online.
Oh, I think the interesting thing about prohibition of any nature is it's like there's 200 years of successful like prohibitionist movements. Like in the alcohol prohibition, it was amazing. Nobody drank. Now that we've made heroin illegal, there's not a single user of heroin, which is a pretty amazing statistic. Crystal methamphetamine, which is illegal, not used.
All we have to do is ban bad stuff.
Just legislate that you
Yeah.
can't use it, and everyone goes, "Cool,
Yeah.
I'll stop that."
Well, it's the same as cigarettes.
Yep.
Just
No
put a
one's-
really high excise tax on
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and no one will smoke cigarettes.
There's
and they won't-
totally not a black market for cigarettes
No,
right
no,
now.
no.
No.
Like prohibition and socialism, every single time it's been implemented, it's been a roaring success. So I think we should do more of
But
that.
the problem is, still to this day though, when there's a problem and you talk to someone, they still think, for the majority of people, that it's the government's job to fix it. The people still think this
Yeah.
way. And so if that's the prevailing orthodoxy in society, I can tell you now there's going to be more banning, more prohibition, and more bullshit that you just laugh at. It's none of it achieves anything, but then all our lives become inconvenience because with all this social media ban stuff, well, now if an adult wants to use Facebook, I don't know why they would unless they're trying to make money out of it, but let's say you wanted to use Facebook, well, now you have to register, you have to give ID, you have to prove your age, that you're not under 16. And so a whole bunch of adults are going to have their lives ridiculously inconvenienced. If I'm going to
Or improved.
if I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on, I say it almost was done this way by design. It had nothing to do with saving the children. But anytime you want to feed some bullshit to society, just tell them it's to save the kids. I mean, won't somebody think of the kids? It's ridiculous.
But I think
We'll get to visibility and opportunity
the
soon. I promise.
visibility v opportunity thing, actually, in thinking about it, it is a double-edged sword. But I think fundamentally, if you're Perth's, Australia's, the world's best kept secret, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? I think you have to be like the greatest businesses ever have been the greatest marketing businesses. There's not many great product businesses that have not been good marketing businesses that have done well.
Well, it comes back to choice. As we were talking about before, in terms of scaling or growing, what do you want? Because you might be happy just doing your 100K a year. So,
That's right,
then you don't need that visibility.
Yeah.
But if you want to have more zeros behind that number, then
Start
you need to
marketing.
do something. And if it's not going to be the business out front, then you need to be
Yes.
out front, if not both.
Yeah. And do you think it's humility or fear that keeps people from showing up?
Well, now we're going into the psychiatry of it all, but
It was fear in my
Yeah.
case. Yeah, I was
Fear.
worried about biting off more than I could chew and not being able to deliver on the sizzle that I've promised. So that kept me boxed up and in witness protection longer than I needed to be.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stick my head above the parapet wall because I had a story loop in my head that was the second you do that, catastrophe strikes.
Okay.
That was it for me. Like, don't paint a fucking target on your back because then bad things happen. That was like the stupid chain of logic that was in my head.
If you
Yeah.
have nice things, they're going to break, so there's no point.
That's right. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
so
Just have shit
I
things.
had a bit of a story loop of that, and I still have it, but it's like you just have to eat the pain. If you want to do something, you have to eat that pain, and you have to, like it's not, you have to constantly remind yourself that that's not a sequence of logic that's necessarily true, even though it's hard to break the cycle in your brain.
Yeah.
possibly for a lot of people, it's also about coming up with what that content is and then being able to recreate that content on an ongoing basis. And if you're not a real creative person, then you're going to need somebody to help you with that.
Yeah.
So I think, it can be more than one thing. It can be, I'm not that happy the way I look on camera and I can't really think of the content and, maybe I don't have the camera stuff. Like, obviously those barriers to entry are getting easier with the cost of technology coming down and being able to
iPhone.
get people to help you and all those kind of things. But all those little things can add up to being like, oh no, I'm just not going to do that for now. Well, maybe when I X, then I'll start doing
it.
Yeah.
But you have to be front of mind. That's one thing I've learnt over the years, that people don't know that they need your service or want your service until you tell them and remind them that it exists and maybe they'd like to purchase it.
Yeah.
And if it's so easy to get forgotten in that regard. And so small things like, regular YouTube videos of free content, you see that is an excellent technique that a lot of business people use, or just regular posts of value on LinkedIn. And if there's other forms of social media that that your customers are going to use, then you would be reminding them for free with some value, a small little tidbit of value that you exist and you've got this excellent service. And I've lost count of the number of times where you do that, and the next thing you know, a couple of phone calls come in. Oh, I've got this and I've got that, and oh yeah, I just saw your post there.
Yeah, people see it.
It works. And then going back to one of the first topics, imagine if you did that on scale now, using all the psychological wizardry of expert marketing. I mean, it's pretty obvious why it works.
Have I missed the fucking memo? Did you guys get told to throw up a couple of softballs at Tracy so she could oh yes,
No.
at DSP we can help you out with that.
You're the one that told her to run the lost leader on this topic that we're talking about.
I'm just wondering if I missed. I mean, because of course, Tracy encouraged me, and it's just done nothing but wonders for my business.
No,
is that the softball you're looking for?
Good intentions, but I also think how many people you've helped by stepping out of the shadows as well. I saw your Ignite bootcamp. You've got so many people there that you're impacting, and Marcus with your rebrand.
Well, exactly. I love my
and
new
Evan
logo.
Soph on the podcast and putting yourself out there. I definitely think, and I think, and I can speak to it as well, by putting myself out there more, it's had a profound impact on my profile, on Design Studio Perth, everything.
I think it's important for someone like you. You get energy from these sorts of things. You get energy. I see you at networking events, butterfly around the room.
I have a goal. I'm so driven. I want to achieve stuff.
I get it. And I get there and just go, fuck, I don't want to talk to anyone.
My goal is to get out of here.
Yeah. How quickly can I drop this smoke bomb? Where's Paul? Gone.
Really?
Yeah. I don't get energy from those sorts of environments. I get energy sitting down having a one-to-one conversation with you, sitting down having a one-to-one convo with Sophie or Marcus about something that requires you to engage your brain and have a think and be in the convo. I don't get any energy from conversations about cricket and football and.
Well, I need that.
But you get the joke. When you go to those networking events, if it's someone you don't know, of course you're going to choose a safe topic. I'm not going to say, tell me about your biggest business problem. I'd like to talk about that because I get energy from that, because people are just going to be like...
But Paul, you're doing it for a reason, right? And everything in business, you don't love everything you do. No. And some of the things you do are I don't really like doing this, but I know how important it is, so I'm going to go to the networking event, or I'm going to get in front of the camera or whatever. I'm going to have that conversation with an employee. There's so many things in business we don't love doing, we have to learn to do them.
I've got a whole algorithm to deal with that. And it's perfect. It's fail-safe and it's perfect. Mm-hmm. Go to a networking event with Tracy. Because you know what she does?
What does that mean?
You need to meet Paul. You need to meet Paul.
Well,
so I just have a little queue at my consult desk.
It's about getting the right people around you, right?
Tracy.
Yeah. People who are better at
just
you
Tracy.
than certain things.
Oh. Anything you want to add, Marcus?
No, I've enjoyed listening to all of that. That's brilliant. But, no.
So to close the conversation out, let's go straight into a topic that everyone has an opinion on. And Marcus, I know you suggested this one, manifesting in business, vision or bullshit. Let's open up the topic that divides the business world, manifestation. Some swear by it, others dismiss it. So let's unpack whether it drives outcomes or distracts us from the real work. So the first question is, when we manifest something, is it belief or is it relentless work and timing?
Oh, this is itching for you, Paul. Go on.
Didn't it? Sorry, the judge told me to stop manifesting in public. Is that what we're talking about? Or?
Manifesting, yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Within 30 metres of a school, something like that. I can't remember the details of it.
In business, not goodness.
Manifesting. If by manifesting you mean devise in your own mind a specific goal or target or milestone, and then be open-minded to see the evidence that supports the your ability to do that. I'm getting all fucking technical. If you believe in something, yes, I think you will do it. Yeah, so I don't explicitly manifest. I don't write shit on the mirror and fucking...
You don't Photoshop stuff or put your face on like a
No.
body you want, or like...
No,
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. you write a number down and say that's what's going to be in my bank account. at the
Actually,
end
I
of the
do.
shit.
I
Yeah.
Photoshop it. Like, I
Yeah.
Photoshop my revenue goal, and then I look at it every day.
Yeah, look, and
Yeah, but I do similar, but I have it in my brain because looking at it on a Photoshop thing, which just wouldn't
I need a visual.
wouldn't
Each to
work
their
for
own.
me. It wouldn't work for
Right.
me. But
okay.
like, I mean, isn't there a part of the brain called the fucking reticular activator? They're like, aren't we, like designed, or didn't we evolve to do exactly that? Because like, if you don't do that, you get lost in the fog of war.
Yeah.
I thought that's how we're designed. So just if we're designed that way, use it. Like, I've run this experiment so many times. Pick a random colour and a random car brand and say it to 4 people, and 4 people within a couple of weeks will come back and say, I saw one of those cars.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that I didn't have the ability to influence the factory and say, can you make a few more of these things, please? It's because you are alive in your mind to the idea that, you'll filter out the other shit to see this. So, yes, of course, manifestation, whatever words you want to use, I just understood it's the reticular activator. So think about what you want and go and find the fucking shit to get you there.
Yeah.
Because you're more likely to if you don't than not.
So the key part is the action or the thinking about it?
It's a bit of both. I think the
Yeah.
thinking drives the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to want it. If you don't
Yeah.
truly want something, you're not going to go and do it. And so a bit of the reinforcement that you describe, writing the number down, putting it on the board, or you're writing a list of your 3 to 5 most important goals for the next few years. And if you put that on a bit of paper and read it, it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, as long as you're not asking for completely, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of this comes out of a book called Think and Grow Rich, is probably the first iteration of this kind of thing. And those kinds of techniques of writing things down and saying that number, and that's the number that's going to be, your brain will come up with ideas and find a way to make it happen. And then as long as you're disciplined and follow through and put the actions in, then there's every chance that you will get to where you want to be. It's like I said, a self-fulfilling prophecy, almost like gravity.
Yeah.
But and I've noticed that women these days have taken to it a lot more than men. Like, men all think the way sort of Paul, and I guess I do, going, all right, if I really want it, I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to go and do it.
Yeah.
And it'll happen because I want to do it, I'll go and do it. And women have gotten more into the concept of the
Visualising
manifesting.
it.
Yeah. And it's no surprise that we've got 2 women here that have just said, yep, I absolutely manifest. Oh, it's the best thing ever. I write the numbers down, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then, males like Paul and I have taken a different approach. I think where it treads into bullshit, and I see this a lot as well, is people think that as long as I think about it, then it'll just happen because I've put it out to the universe. I get that a lot. I put it out to the universe. And I go, well, I don't think, there's wish it, there's want it, and then there's do it. And so if you're not doing the do it part, and you haven't got a clear pathway in your mind as to how you're going to do it, it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. So where's the fine line between vision and delusion in business? So that speaks to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone will say, well, I manifested $1 million, so it's going to happen. I was going, well, is it there yet? and sometimes it gets every bit as ridiculous as that. But I've noticed there's a big trend. I've heard that word a lot over the last couple of years, more than I've heard it before that. Yeah.
Which word? Manifest.
Manifest. Yeah, I've manifested it, and 10 times out of 10, it's been a female that's used the word.
Right.
10 times out of 10, I shit you not, there hasn't been an exception yet.
Except when you brought it up.
Yeah.
Well, because I thought...
Yeah, but your suggestion.
No, I didn't bring up that I was manifesting anything in particular.
Oh, you just wanted to discuss it.
Well, I guess I manifested this conversation and I made it happen. Look, we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like the whole, the Atomic Habits thing. achievement of a goal starts with how you define yourself. So if manifestation is self-definition is a form of manifestation, yes, that will start driving subconscious or like it'll constrain your behaviour set to the behaviours that are more likely to get you to what you want. It'll start I'm a fit and healthy person, I'm not going to go get a beer out of the fridge, because straight away it creates a bit of dissonance. So I think that self-definition or manifestation, but all of these things, goals, ideas, manifestations, fucking, self-definition, it's literally as good as used toilet paper if you don't actually do something. So I think that's the difference. Like, take it out of the idea phase and get it into the action phase, because it is the, 1,000,001 increments that get you home, and it's the discipline to just go back to the same shit and try and work out the same shit. As boring as it is, and as hard as it is, and as grindy as it is, I never see people win who can't stick to something until they've got it. And I look at that and I go, the goal size or magnitude becomes less relevant. The discipline to achieve is and whatever that is, the discipline to achieve is the most, like that seems to me the distinction between winners and losers. It's the people that say, fuck it, I'm just doing it. I'm just going to do it.
I mean, you can manifest weight loss all you like, but if you don't move more and put the fork down,
true.
it's not going to happen.
Use toilet paper.
Or Ozempic, I suppose, but that's going to give you other problems.
So, if anything you want to share there?
No.
Oh, come on. What's the last thing you manifested?
Gosh, I mean, I don't consciously think about it. I think it, like Paul said, it becomes who you are. This is the sort of person I am. I think about the things that I want. I don't specifically visualise those things, but I just think about it and I make a plan and then I go do it. I don't know. Is that manifesting? I don't know.
I'd like to manifest some fucking cold air in this room.
Take your coat off, liberate.
No, because right now I'm manifesting a big sweat pile in my armpits. I'm not going to.
I'm so luxuriously comfortable right now, having taken my coat off.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Guys, to wrap us up, I'd love for you guys just to share, what do you feel is the biggest, ingredient in being a successful business owner? Marcus?
Most successful ingredients.
What's
I'm
what's
just repeating the question
makes
so I can
you
give myself
successful?
time to think of some line of bullshit that I can package here.
Let me come back to you.
Manifestation.
Yeah, man.
In public.
Wishing it, wanting it, and doing it.
Wishing it, wanting and doing it. Okay.
Yeah, I might as well stay on point there. But the doing it bit's the most important. Do it and fail if you have to, but just do something. Make decisions. Get out there. Don't paralyze yourself, and you'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah. So?
I don't know. I feel like you just need to be a bit of a Swiss Army knife. You've got to have a tool for everything, and you've got to know the right one to use at the right time.
True.
Whip that out and get it done, and then move on to the next thing. Like it's about being able to see a problem and deal with that, and then move on. There's a lot to think about, and I think a lot of people underestimate how hard it is.
Completely.
Yeah.
Paul?
In business or in life?
In business. Or you can share both if you like.
It's probably relevant across both. I think deep thought, like you have to be a thinker.
Yeah.
If you're not a thinker, like you're not going to do things that are right for you. You're going to do things that are told to you. So deep thought, discipline, and execution. That's
wishing it. That's pretty important.
A mate of mine had a tattoo here on his ribs.
Yeah.
And it said, the vision to see, the courage to do. I always thought that was amazing because he never did anything. Maybe he should.
He got the tattoo.
Maybe he should have put the tattoo on his hand.
On his forehead.
Yes. No, not because you wouldn't see it in your forehead.
No, you put it in reverse and then you see it in the mirror every day.
So what was it? The vision to see?
The vision to see, the courage to do.
Right.
No, I do think it's deep thought. If you're not a thinker, I think you're highly susceptible to stuff. And we live in a world of infinite information.
Yeah.
And probably 107% of the information that's available readily is just bullshit. So deep thought, like right at first principles levels, and that takes a lot of energy and mental cycles, discipline. Like, I don't know, what does discipline mean? It's like,
That's the doing it bit.
No, I think discipline's the stuff that hurts. It's doing the stuff that hurts. Or the stuff that's boring, the stuff that's not necessarily fun and exciting.
Yeah.
You've got to go back to the well and just keep on doing the stuff that is not that fun, and then the execution is actually doing it. Once you recognise you need to do it, which is the discipline part, it's just go and do it, because even that's bloody hard. Like, everyone knows in business you've got to make fucking sales calls. How many people do it?
Yeah.
So few. And what's the reason?
I was busy.
Doing what?
It's just a shit job.
I had to tidy my desk.
But you got no money. Like,
You better get a tidy desk. You can't sneeze at a tidy desk. How many hours of lost productivity searching for post-it notes have there been over the years?
Yeah.
How about you, Tracy? In your experience,
Yes.
what have you found has been the most important thing that immediately comes to mind?
Well, Paul's taught me the art of deep thinking, so I spent a lot of time this summer on my Lalo in my pool thinking about stuff with my journal. I kid you not, like, it's actually become a really powerful tool. But I think it's grit and getting up when you get knocked down, like getting back up and giving it another go. And I think sometimes I drive Paul crazy because I'm like, I'm done, I've had enough. He's like, have you already had enough? No, I haven't. So just being consistent. And
that's such fucking bullshit.
What?
That is not how the conversation goes. I'll tell you specifically how the convo goes.
oh my goodness.
Tracy sits in the small meeting room at my office and says, it's too hard. It's too hard.
Not often, just every now and then.
Very infrequently, to be fair. And I have the absolute, panacea for that conversation. So, okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's too hard. No worries. Let's start the process of shutting this thing down. So we'll just wind it down. We'll just wind it down and get you a job.
And I'm like, what did you say?
Beautiful.
It's
Throws
like
me
when a
off.
plant in your garden gets a little bit droopy, you just give it a bit of water and then it springs back to life again. It's
I
great.
thought he'd be like, no, Trace, you can do it. Woo. And he's like, yeah, okay, let's just wrap it up. And I'm like,
Let's wrap it up. Yeah.
No. So yes, I think just being consistent. As someone on the podcast said the other day, they have days where they'd rather stay in bed. I don't have those days. I love what I do. I feel more focused. Working with someone like Paul has really given me that focus, and I've got an extreme drive in going for what I want. So I don't get days where I want to stay in bed all day because I can't think of anything worse. So I think just
That's a sad
consistently-
life if you don't want to get out of bed and do some living each
Well,
You know,
day.
some people
that's a
have days-
pathology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
some
actually a
people
pathology.
Want to just they want to stay in bed days, right? And I'm like, I can't think of anything worse. So
No.
Some people also have I want to drink
Absolutely.
a bottle of wine days, and
yeah, I used to have those.
doesn't make it a productive thing, and it's typically symptomatic of something a tad deeper than
Yeah, of course.
I feel like alcohol or I feel like sleepies.
Yeah.
That's I feel like hiding from the world.
Yeah, and I think when you've got big goals, like you don't get 8 to 5, that's an idyllic world. Maybe one day I'll have that, but I do some pretty long hours, and that's my choice because I'm very focused on where I'm going. I don't want a mediocre business. I want something great, and yeah, I'm prepared to do the hard yards to get there. So yeah, just keep at it. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially if you've got the personality of what I like to call a border collie.
Oh,
Where if you don't go running out in the yard for 3 hours every day, you'll chew your paw off.
Yeah.
Whereas,
So I'm a border collie, is what you're saying?
yeah, perhaps there's something for you to think deeply about while
Sure,
you're lying
I'm a
back
Lalo, my glitter
on
gold
the
one.
thing in your pool there. That can be done. Whereas, other creatures of the world don't need to go running around the yard. They need more moderate forms of exercise to feel happy. But there are. Again, if you're true to yourself and you say, hang on a second, no, I need to run around the yard for 3 hours a day, otherwise I'm going to go nuts here. Well, you've got to be true to that too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And so you've just got to find how you can best channel that energy into the best things for yourself going forward, obviously. And I know many, many people like that.
Yeah.
It's all about how you channel it. Otherwise,
I love that word passion.
Passion, yeah.
Well, because passion, everybody thinks passion is this kind of mad love, happy thing. And it specifically means that which you are prepared to suffer for.
Yeah.
It's not the most romantic notion. Hallmark cards might have tried to, I've got passionate love for you. It's like, think about that. But it actually means that which you are prepared to that you're prepared to suffer for. And I don't think you need to love. I think in actual fact you can hate what you're doing because there are days where I hate what I'm doing. I would rather sit and eat glass than what I'm doing at that specific moment. But probably 90% of the time, I'm very passionate about it. So maybe that sits above the deep thought, discipline and execution. I think if you're not passionate about it, you just never going to get it to that zone where you'll think about it. You just won't get there.
No. Guys, anything else before we sign off?
Thanks for the muffin and the chopped chip cookie. It was great.
It's only a pleasure that you can have a takeaway as well.
If you got another one of those chopped chip cookies, I'm in.
But for the chopped chip cookies and muffins, I think it's important to acknowledge on behalf of probably all of the people that have come on as a guest.
You're not recognising the traditional owners of the land, are you?
Not going there.
Because we haven't done that yet today.
This show hasn't been
Sorry about
cancelled
that.
yet.
Please, Marcus, keep it that way.
No, I think, Tracy, sure, it's all well and good for people to say you should do a podcast, right? That's easy. That's sitting in the cheap seat saying you should. I think it's really important to recognise that the importance of what you're doing with this podcast, which is giving people a platform, having real conversations. You are extraordinary in the way that you get people to feel safe enough to talk about probably shit that they wouldn't ordinarily talk about. Because most people, like I had Ignite last night, and it's like I know almost every single business in that room quite intimately.
Yeah.
And I open up every single Ignite session with good, bad, struggle, opportunity. I had things like struggles, changing nappies.
Oh.
And I know a specific thing that happened to that client's business in that month, and it was a little different to changing nappies.
Yeah.
Most people sit there and go,
My biggest struggle is I'm so busy, there's so much opportunity, I'm fucking flat out. It's like,
but 3 weeks ago, you were going to burn this business to the ground.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? So I think it's very important that people have some sort of place to be able to talk about those things. And you lure that out of people, seduce that out of people, something. Encourage. And I've really enjoyed these 3
Thank you.
sessions.
Thank you, Paul.
Having an hour and a half to sit around and talk shit.
I've had an adequate time.
Oh, thanks, Marcus. What the heck? You're not coming on again.
Adequate's good. I keep telling people adequate's good.
It's supposed to be great.
Marcus's performance review. Well,
Snacks were average.
you've been an okay lawyer. My encouragement for you is be a little less shit. Review complete.
You got to keep them hungry.
Neg them.
Yeah, you got to strive for that gold star, and the silver star is very good.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for giving up your time. The 3 times this whole year. I really appreciate all that you've shared. To finish off, please let us know where's the best place for our listeners to go should they wish to connect with you. Soph, we'll start with you.
LinkedIn, Sophie Stott, best place.
Paul?
Paul at paulclaessen.com.au or 0400074010.
Oh, my goodness. Well, now you got a phone number on there, yeah.
So, yeah, people can find me on LinkedIn or, even better, to my flashy new website that was designed by a pretty awesome organisation for me at procopiolegal.com.au, Procopio.
Brilliant. So be sure to chuck all the links in the show notes below. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.